Would you go on vacation somewhere if the locals were holding protests, asking you not to come? That's exactly the situation travelers are facing this summer in one of Europe's most beloved and now embattled destinations, Spain. From Barcelona's bustling boulevards to the sun-drenched shores of the Canary Islands, frustration with over-tourism has reached a boiling point. And as tensions rise, both tourists and locals are being forced to ask a tough question. When does a dream vacation become a local nightmare? Spain's love-hate relationship with tourists is coming to a head. Spain has long been a top choice for travelers around the globe. With its rich culture, world-famous cuisine, and gorgeous Mediterranean coastline, it's no surprise that over 80 million tourists visit the country annually. But in 2025, the welcome mat is starting to wear thin. In some parts of the country, it's being yanked away altogether. In cities like Barcelona, Seville, and Palma de Mallorca, and across the Canary Islands, locals have taken to the streets in growing numbers, staging protests and brandishing signs with messages like, "Tourists go home," and "The Canaries are not for sale." Some demonstrators have gone as far as spray painting anti-tourism messages on rental cars and buildings, expressing resentment that's been simmering for years and is now boiling over. What's fueling the backlash? This rising hostility isn't just about tourists taking selfies in front of Sagrada Familia or crowding beach clubs in Ibiza. For many Spaniards, the problem runs deeper and hits home literally. Skyrocketing housing costs. Platforms like Airbnb have turned thousands of apartments into short-term vacation rentals, pushing local families out of their neighborhoods. In places like Barcelona, where 27 million visitors fled a city of only 1.6 million residents, affordable housing is increasingly out of reach for locals. Overburdened infrastructure, public services like transportation, sanitation, and healthcare are being stretched thin by the sheer volume of tourists. Local resources meant for residents are often monopolized by visitors. Low wages in tourism-dependent jobs. While tourism brings money into the economy, many of the people working in the industry, from hotel cleaners to waitstaff, are underpaid and overworked. The promise of economic benefit doesn't always reach those who need it most. Environmental and cultural erosion. Popular destinations are struggling to maintain their cultural identity and ecological balance. Fragile coastal environments are being degraded, and traditional ways of life are being overwhelmed by mass tourism. Government actions and grassroots movements. Spanish officials are no longer ignoring the issue. Across the country, measures are being taken to curb the impact of tourism. Cruise ship restrictions. Some port cities are reducing the number of daily cruise ship arrivals, a major contributor to crowding and pollution. Tourist tax increases. Cities like Barcelona have hiked their tourist tax, aiming to discourage mass tourism and generate funds for infrastructure. Rental regulations. Local governments are cracking down on illegal vacation rentals and pushing for stricter regulations to protect long-term housing. Development moratoriums. In the Canary Islands, activists are calling for a temporary halt on new hotel construction, urging the government to rethink its approach to tourism growth. Spain isn't closed, but the message is clear. It's important to stress that Spain is not banning tourists. The tourism industry still represents a vital part of the country's economy, and millions will still travel there this year. However, the message being sent is unambiguous. Visitors need to travel more thoughtfully, more respectfully, and with more awareness of their impact. How to be a respectful traveler in Spain this summer. If Spain is still calling your name, and it very well might be, here are key ways to travel more consciously. Choose off-the-beaten-path destinations. Skip the crowds in Ibiza and head to Menorca, or explore northern Spain's hidden gems like Asturias, Galicia, or the Basque Country. Avoid short-term rentals in residential areas. Book locally owned hotels, B&Bs, or guest houses instead. This supports the local economy without displacing residents. Respect local culture and customs. Don't party loudly in quiet neighborhoods. Be mindful of siesta hours, and clean up after yourself. Support local businesses. Ditch international chains, and spend your money in local tapas, bars, artisan shops, and neighborhood markets. Use sustainable transportation. Consider trains over flights where possible, and use public transit or bikes once you arrive. Looking for alternatives? Try these low-key European escapes. If the protests and rising tensions have you rethinking your plans altogether, you don't have to give up on Europe, just try something new. Portugal's Alentejo region. Peaceful, uncrowded, and rich in history and wine. The coast of Slovenia. Small but stunning, with charming towns like Piran and fewer tourists. Southern Italy's Puglia and Basilicata. Full of ancient towns, beautiful beaches, and authentic experiences. Minus the mass tourism. The bottom line. Spain is still open to visitors, but it's making a clear and urgent ask. Don't be a careless tourist. Be a considerate guest. The era of unchecked tourism may be ending, but a new kind of travel, thoughtful, sustainable, and mutually respectful, is just beginning. So the real question isn't whether you should go to Spain this summer, it's how you plan to show up if you do.